Hello, folks, and welcome back to the Crystal and Tommy podcast. And with my lovely host and beautiful, it just makes any man melt in her shoe, any man melt in their shoes, and absolutely drop dead friend,
Yeah.
Crystal.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you for that. Yep, it's Crystal. I think we know Crystal by now. Hiya, hiya.
Hiya.
Hope everybody's surviving the apocalypse.
Yes, as you know, the corona, the corona outbreak has happened recently, and a lot of people, because of this, there's not a lot of meeting with people. Like it's just very, kind of to each other. How do you feel about this, Crystal?
Eh, I don't know. I'm pretty skeptical, but pretty much everybody that I'm acquainted with is skeptical, except for like 3 people. I've encountered 3 people that are legitimately like canceling their life out of fear and stuff. Like everybody else, and literally everyone else, is like, really? Okay, whatever. I don't know. Like most people seem to either be kind of perturbed by it because it's interfering with their livelihood and their lifestyle and their schedule, and then or it's people that are like, sweet, a good excuse not to do anything for 2 weeks. That's pretty much it. I don't know.
Well, now kids are like thinking, oh, yeah, I'm getting out of school because of the coronavirus, but that's not true because schools are actually sending work home with kids. And like, I've had a.
Oh yeah, totally. And it's a drag. It's a total drag. I mean, it's not like, you know, we can't do the work at home. It's fine. It's just, you know, it's a kind of a drag, especially if you are a single parent and you are still having to go to work. Then it's particularly difficult because now you have to think about where your kids are going to be during the day, plus go home and then do homework, do their schoolwork with them. It's kind of, and I don't know, for me, I can speak for myself. I'm sure I'm not the only one that didn't really know how my daughter does her schoolwork. So then, like, all of a sudden I get bombarded with like emails and voicemails and whatever from the school system being like, you can find your child's work on this website, or you can go through this web, and then the papers are going to be sent home, and then like, so make sure that you're logging into da da da. And I'm like, what? I don't know of any of this. This is the first time I've ever heard of any of this.
It is. It's truly ridiculous. It is truly mind boggling on how people are, what extents people are going through. And even fast food restaurants are packing up their dining rooms now, and so where they can't serve food now. It's really it's really unnerving.
They're down all non-medical facilities. I'm sorry, all non-essential medical facilities. So like my mom works for a chiropractor. The office is closed for the next week.
Really?
Yeah.
Even though they take individual appointments, like that's directly individual. Like you could have individual people come in and have appointments. Like how is that? Like that's not collecting a group.
Yeah, the doctor that she works for really wanted to do this. I get this feeling like there's a pressure being put on people like that to shut down. I don't watch TV. I don't even watch I don't even watch TV on the internet. I'll not TV shows. Like I'll watch an HBO show on HBO, but I don't watch
HBO. Yes,
I don't watch if it comes on a television channel, network channel, I'm probably not watching it. But I heard, my brother told me earlier today that both Jimmy Kimmel and Jimmy Fallon did their late night shows from their home. They Skyped it.
What?
Yeah. This morning, I noticed I sit with a woman a few times a week who's older and she's ill and she needs some help.
Yeah.
And I was this morning, and I think I probably washed my hands like 50 times today, I swear. And not because I'm worried. I'm like, do I don't know. Like, the media has me convinced that I somehow have corona. I'm about to spread it to this elderly lady. Like, I'm like, I know I don't have it, but I'm just vigorously washing my hands every 5 minutes just in case.
It's
And she's watching The View, right?
yeah.
And Whoopi Goldberg is Skyping from her house because she's in quarantine. And I'm like, oh my God.
Oh
Oh my
my
God.
god. Yes.
So I just share with anybody who's listening some stuff that I researched as far as this quote unquote research I've done was literally asking Google a question. It's not anything that anybody can't do or probably has already done. But just to reiterate, in case anybody's interested, that we have at this point, so coronavirus has been around for 3 months. That's how long it's been around. It originated in China or whatever. In the United States, since the outbreak, there's been 110 deaths in the United States.
That's a shame.
Well, it's a shame, but we don't want people, getting sick and dying if they don't have to. But there's not much we can do about it in the grand scheme, because for anybody who remembers swine flu, H1N1 was 10 years ago.
Yeah.
We had H1N1 10 years ago. My brother got H1N1.
Wow.
He did, and it almost killed him.
Jeez.
He didn't realize. He thought he just had some flu, right? We're all just like, yeah, you get sick, you rest, whatever, you drink fluids. And because he was 17 at the time, he's a healthy young lad. He put off going to the doctor for so long because he thought, I'll just get better. And then he put it off to the point where by the time he got to the doctor, the doctor said, like, if you had not come into my office today, I don't think you would have survived the night. They actually had to give him a adrenaline shot just so that he would start breathing normally again.
Really?
That's how bad it was. And he was 17. So all that being said, I looked up, I Google searched how many people died in a year of H1N1. And this is what I found. So keep in mind, I reiterate, in 3 months, 110 deaths in the United States. Let's make that 2 months, because I don't think we actually got it in the US until about 2 months ago. So from April of 2009 to April of 2010, a year, CDC estimated that there were 12,469 deaths in the United States.
Jeez.
Within the first year of H1N1. So, unless, I'll stand corrected. I'll be the first one to say, dang, I was dead wrong.
Now, how many people have died because of corona right now? Like, how many people? What's the death toll?
I'm saying we have literally 12 times the amount of people died in a year of H1N1 than we have so far. So we would have to have pretty much, 12,300 more deaths within the next 8 months of corona to equal the first year of H1N1. Now that might happen. It might happen.
Wow.
But it just doesn't seem, I don't know. It's hard for me to have an opinion because I'm not a doctor. I'm not a pathologist. I don't know.
Have you ever seen the movie Outbreak?
No.
It's a old movie from the 90s. Basically, there's this disease in Africa, and it's called Catawba. I think Catawba, and it's what it does is it makes you have lesions on your face and bleed from your eyes. Basically, what Ebola is. Basically, it's like a fictional disease that, basically, and also it melts your insides too. It takes your body and it melts. Like a disease will melt your insides, and they're trying to keep it contained. And at first they contain it. Well, actually, no. Somebody decides that they're going to steal a monkey, and that was actually the same monkey that they used in the show of Friends.
Yeah.
Interesting fact. It was the same monkey that they used in that show.
How about that? A well-behaved monkey.
Yes. But yeah, it shows how easy in the movie how easy it is for a very toxic, disease like that to escape. A guy goes into a movie theater and he coughs, and it shows you the bug flying around the theater, going into different people's mouths into a whole theater, and next thing you know, there's hospitals getting flooded with millions and millions of people being sick and bleeding from the eyes.
Well, that's kind of what Ebola. I remember Ebola scaring me, and the symptoms of that, like it was really scary, because it was like internally, you basically just degrade. I mean,
yeah,
almost said like melting. That's what it was like. And there was quarantine situations in the world with Ebola, and there were, they stopped some international flights during that time. Jeez. But they still didn't quarantine everybody. And I don't know, this bottom line, anybody who kind of even knows me at this point probably knows that I don't like government or trust government. If you want to know what my opinion is, just listen to George Carlin, I guess, because the government's saying it, you should doubt it. I don't care who they are. That's just how I feel. It's based on what I've learned and what I've experienced. I didn't just wake up one day and be like, I don't think that we should trust them. If the media actually gave us real, truthful information, we would see people actually taking this seriously. I think the reason that people aren't taking this seriously is, mostly because we've lived long enough, however long that is. It could be 30 years, it could be 60 years, it could be 80 years. You live long enough to have seen this pattern. Media scare, and then nothing happens. Media scare, and then nothing happens. Media scare, nothing happens. And I kind of just feel like maybe this is just another one of those. And I hope that's true. I hope that it is just a media scare for whatever. I don't know what their motivation would be, but, it's a possibility.
The biggest problem with this being this disease being from a foreign country, with being from China, is now it's over here and it's airborne. Biggest concern that I predicted: what if it comes in contact with any other? Because we have a lot of diseases here in this country. So what if this thing comes in contact with another disease? That means it won't just be Corona. It'll be Corona X. Like, Corona X will be like...
I don't think that's how it works. Although viruses do mutate. I mean, they do mutate, and they do evolve, and they change.
Well, because in the movie Outbreak, it's a fictional movie. What happened was there was two different of the disease, and we're just going to compare Corona to the fictional disease from Outbreak. Let's say, okay, we have the original virus and it's from Africa, and then when it comes over here and it goes over, there's another mutation of it because it's a new form of it, so it has more different symptoms than the original virus that was in Africa.
That's how viruses operate. That's how viruses operate in general. They change, they mutate. Yeah. So when they say, this is a different strand of influenza. Well, when they say the flu, this is influenza, they're talking about multiple different strands of a flu that change and mutate and that's just how it operates. So the coronavirus would be the same. It just, the question is, I mean, is that really any different than the flu in general? Is it really any different?
Yeah.
I mean,
And
I was looking up stuff, and it was like, 40 people every year die of salmonella poisoning. And I'm not every year, I'm sorry, every month.
did you say you got salmonella at one point?
Yeah, I had salmonella before. It was absolutely wretched.
Yeah, I remember you told me that. Like,
Probably the sickest I've ever been in my life from an illness was salmonella. It was absolutely horrible. I can honestly say, like, that's what dying feels like. That's how bad it was. And that's not a virus. That's a bacterial thing. But the point is, if I don't know. I don't know. I really don't know. It's
yeah,
hard to have an opinion.
it's hard. Yeah, it's really hard to say where this disease is going to go to, and you don't know what direction you're going to go with, and all I have to say to people about this subject is to stay positive, stay healthy, wash your hands, and that the best thing to do, go out places if you want, but I'm just going to warn you, you're not going to be able to sit down at a restaurant now. You're just going to be able to go through a drive-through or go to Denny's, but you'll have to get it to go. Call in your orders, get it to go. But just don't be afraid. But if you want to, wear a safety mask. You can order online, or and then hand sanitizer. Lots of hand sanitizer. If you're one of the people that decided that you wanted to basically hoard up all the hand sanitizer, wow, like, you are really insane. Like, you just prevented a bunch of other people from not being able to get hand sanitizer now. Like, people are really nervous about this thing. They want to keep their hands clean. But even though their mothers told them a long time ago, always remember to wash your hands before you do anything. I understand, Mom. I'm an adult. I know how to wash my hands. But now, since there's like this deadly virus called Corona, Mr. What is it, 19 or something like that? What are they calling it? Mr. 19 or like it's technically...
Oh, it's the COVID-19.
COVID-19. Yes, COVID-19. But now we're just like, oh, but no one really wants to say COVID-19. They're just like, oh, we're going to call it Corona. And I'm like, yeah, it's nice.
Well, and the term Corona, I think, has also, in my opinion, made it easier for, I mean, especially Americans to kind of laugh about it. Because it's like, oh, Corona, ha, 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 because it's Corona beer. And there's been so many jokes made about Corona beer and just, that's, and sales of Corona beer have, I think, actually increased because it's like, because of it's just kind of funny to people. There's another statistic here that I looked up, and this is another one of those things that to me is very telling of, the actual situation that the news, I mean, not that I don't really watch news, I don't really watch TV, but what I have seen, I haven't heard anybody just say this. So from October 1st of 2019 until February 1st of 2020.
Yeah.
So October, November, December, January that's 4 months. That just the flu in general, the regular flu has killed 16,000 people.
Jeez.
Just the regular flu. In 4 months' time, influenza has killed 16,000 people in this country. And what that means. They're basing that on, who went to the doctor and said they had the flu and then died shortly after. Well, that's the elderly. That's the very, very young, like 4 and under young. And people who have compromised immune systems. It's always been that. So we're looking at 16,000 Americans have died in under 5 month period of time from the flu. And in 3 months, Corona has killed 110 people from just the Corona, and we're flipping out. That's why I don't understand anymore. I don't understand the panic. I don't understand the quarantine. I don't get it.
You know,
If we're going to quarantine for Corona, we should be quarantining for the flu every flu season, because it's killing people. Things kill people more often than I think we really are aware, that we think of. And, because if somebody's old and they get, if you're 80 years old and you're already 80 for one, it sucks, but it is. We'll all be 80 one day unless we die before we're 80, right? And if you get a flu at 80, it's more likely to kill you than it's going to be when you're 40. It's just how it is.
yeah.
And we can't do much to change that besides cover our coughs and wash your hands. That's the only thing that we can really do.
Yeah.
So I don't get it.
I don't get it either. And what drives me nuts is somebody simply just coughs and then people freak out. Like, I'm like, no, people don't freak out if somebody coughs. Now, if they're coughing out loud, I say, say, excuse me, sir, could you cover your mouth? I don't want to be coughed on by you. I don't know what you have. So the best thing to do is, in that situation is take your hand, like take your arm, like you're a superhero, put your face into your arm and cough into your arm, or cough into your hand. Like that's the best thing to do, or wear a safety mask.
Yeah, they say cough into the crook of your elbow, not your hands, because you're touching things with your hands. If you cough into and then just make sure you're just sanitizing often and stuff like that. It's like, okay, well, that's not that big of a deal. And that's what you would really be doing anyway. So I don't know. I personally, I don't get it. I don't buy into it. I think it's a load of BS, and I don't know where the BS is coming from. But I also know and always have that, and encourage other people always to have that little bit of doubt that, maybe you're wrong. Maybe I am wrong. Maybe this is a lot more serious than I think it is. But based on what what statistics and what information that I've been looking at recently, I'm not clear as to why this is so serious right now.
Yeah.
But whatever. I didn't have to work 2 days out of this week, which was kind of nice, honestly. It was kind of nice.
Well, apparently, I heard the government is supposed to be giving American citizens $1,000. Apparently,
that's what I heard. Yeah.
because people are shortened right now. Now, if the government's doing that, I wonder if that means if our taxes are going to get shorted, because tax season's coming up soon. And I wonder if that means we're going to get.
It better not. That my tax return is my tax return. So you can just honestly, the government can let me be. Honestly, you want to give me $1,000? That is bloody awesome. Give me $500. Bloody awesome. Or, give me nothing. Just don't mess with my tax return. It's fine. Just let's whatever. Either be nice to me, or leave me alone. That's it.
Now, I hope that, before we move on here, I hope my prayers are with everybody. If you have corona, I hope that you get to a doctor. I hope that they find a cure for this. Honestly, I really do. I hope that they find a way to conquer this thing and dominate it and put it through a table. Oh my gosh! It's modern medicine versus the coronavirus. My God, hey, you don't know where it's gonna go. It's a slobber knocker. Good old JR.
I love me some memes and stuff, and I guess I'm gonna accidentally do some advertising, but I like Imgur. If you're it's kind of like
you showed it to
it's
me.
better. It's Imgur is a good site. I like it. It's very entertaining. It's cool. But it was really cracked me up because I found one. It was literally an ad from Pornhub.
Oh my
Literally
God.
an ad from Pornhub. Hilarious. It said health tip number 189. Wash your hands, sneeze in your elbow, and touch no one but yourself. Stay healthy. Stay on Pornhub. It was so funny.
I saw one.
Touch no one but yourself from Pornhub. Your friends at Pornhub. It was like, that's just great. It's great.
I saw one. Somebody showed me today. It said, Pennywise is in the sewer, and he says, "Hey Georgie, I have toilet paper down here and hand sanitizer."
Oh yeah. Well, okay. Well, now I have to go. Now I have to go.
No, I have to go. No, I really don't need that. But you need to write something with your butt. No, I have a bidet at home. I love it. It squirts me on the butt, and it makes me feel really good, and it tingles.
Oh Lord, I think more Americans should have bidets. I think they sound pretty useful. So
I've used a bidet once, and it was really weird. Like it cleaned me up pretty well, but I just hello, something's shooting up into my butthole, and I'm like, whoa, that's a strange feeling.
I think it's just we're not used to it. Because if you're in the shower and you sprayed yourself down there to get clean, you're kind of in control of it. So
you're into that, but there's certain.
Oh yeah, and it's warm water, but with the bidet, it's probably going to be cold water.
Yeah,
right from the toilet tap, so it's going to feel a little different.
I love when you go into like a fancy restaurant, like they have all sorts of fancy things. They have the fancy bathrooms and stuff like that. Like I like eating rich. Sometimes I like going into ritzy restaurants and eating there and using the bathroom. And that would be an interesting idea for a restaurant, by the way. The toilet restaurant. You go in, you go to the bathroom, and the waiter will serve you, and you do your business. They serve you your food. You wipe yourself, you eat your meal, then you leave, and then you have to use the bathroom again. You use the bathroom.
What kind of food are they serving?
They're just like, they serve anything.
I gotta eat this while I'm on the toilet. That's how much it's gonna make me have to go. That's I don't know.
Yeah, that would be interesting. Yeah, their food is full of laxatives, so when you eat there, it automatically makes you use the bathroom anyway. So you're losing weight no matter what, but you're still hungry. You come to the toilet, we'll leave you full, but you'll still be hungry. Now, can you imagine? Can you imagine if that was? Can you imagine if that was a restaurant, the toilet?
No, not really.
No, they already have a name for it. It's called Taco Bell.
I haven't eaten Taco Bell for so long.
I have not.
I mean, it's been so long.
I have not gone to Taco Bell since I've gone on my diet, and I'm down in the 200s. I haven't really weighed myself because the gym has been closed because of this whole outbreak. So I did 20 laps up and down my stairs yesterday, and then tomorrow I'm going to try to do 20 laps again. I'll try to get to 20 up my stairs and then try to do like 3 rounds of flutter kicks. That's what I try to do, and then generally I just pass out on my couch.
Well, that's good. Good for you. Staying motivated. That's nice.
Motivated and functionated. I don't know if that's a word. I don't think that's a word.
Functionated. You know what? We should make it a word.
Yes.
Why not? Why not?
Why not? Why not? But one thing I really want to talk about is superheroes, and I think what's interesting about superheroes is not talking like modern day superheroes, like people that throw on costumes and run around and play, bad guys and robbers. Crystal, there are modern day superheroes that throw on costumes and run around the streets of their other town, and they beat up, they serve justice. But I think it's interesting about the comic book superheroes, how they age the superhero, and how a person gets older, and I just think it's interesting, don't you think?
Yeah, sure.
And Batman is a perfect example because Batman is kind of in my opinion, he is just a prude. In my opinion, like, he is very hateful towards everybody, even Robin. Like, Robin has tried to connect with him, and like, what's the point of having a sidekick if you're just gonna treat him like garbage? Don't you think?
Well, I am not particularly well versed in all of the comic book canon, so I don't know exactly to what extent Batman treated Robin like crap. I don't really know.
Yeah.
I mean, in as far as the movie verse, and as far as what I know about the characters, Batman's one of my favorite characters. I would say maybe my favorite might be Iron Man. They're kind of similar, though. They're actually they're real people. They're not endowed with superhuman power. They just both have a lot of money, knowledge, and intention. So they invent what they use. They actually create what they created, a way to become a superhero. They didn't. It's not like Superman or Spider-Man or the Hulk or anything like that, or Superwoman, where they actually have this magical superhuman genetic quality. So I like Batman.
Yeah.
I don't know how much. I don't know. Maybe he. I don't know. I don't know.
Well, one thing I want to say is to Joshua Hampton. I know you want to call on the show, but I don't really take calls in on this show, on the Crystal and Tommy podcast. But I appreciate you being a fan, Joshua Hampton. But I do not take calls on this show. Thank you so much, and I really do appreciate that. I don't know who Joshua Hampton is, but I appreciate you being a fan, and you are a Tommy head. That means you are a Tommy head, and I appreciate you. Now, the thing is, if you were to promise me that you're not going to come on here and like screech out anything vulgar, I would maybe let you come on. Normally, I don't really have a lot of people come. This is like a show where me and Crystal just spitball things and we just talk, and we don't really have calls.
Yeah, we could have guests and stuff. We just have to, maybe have a conversation prior.
Yeah, prior. And you have to you might have to message me and talk to me, and then I could spitball it with Crystal, and like we maybe have you as a guest or something like that on one time. I just want to let you know that. Okay, yeah, Batman. Like, back to Batman. I like Batman, but I like the villains. Honestly, I like I love Joker's my all-time favorite villain, and Two-Face is my other favorite. Those are my only two favorite Batman villains, because they're the only two real villains, in my opinion, that actually could be in the modern world. A guy that wears a purple suit and has a red lipstick on his face is white. His face is white and stuff like that, and and a guy got his face burned off, and now he has two personalities and flips a coin and like causes. Used to be a thing of justice, and now he's a criminal.
Yeah, I do like that idea.
And I think with any of just now with like DC with Marvel No, DC. DC is now starting to rev their engine up. They're just now starting to rev their engine up. They've been producing movies, but Marvel has been the dominating force because they've been releasing movie after movie after movie. It was Endgame. It was like Infinity Wars, and then finally we get it, and it's Endgame. So now. With just the releasing of Joker and so many other, now DC is starting to warm their engine up and starting to go full force,
Well, I hope they can take all of their massive studio production and tens of millions of dollars and maybe give us a cool female-led superhero movie because they've got like Wonder Woman was awesome. Other than that,
there's a new Wonder Woman movie coming out, isn't there?
I don't know.
Yeah, I think they said it was at the Oscars. I think it came up a few times and it didn't win any Oscars. Normally comic book movies don't win Oscars, but the Joker was, in my opinion, different because it was an origin story, but also the performance was just not just your bland Jared Leto performance, in my opinion. And you say, Tommy, why would you say Jared Leto's performance was bland? It was bland. It was like he may have gotten into the role, but that company really wrenched him in the back and threw him to the side. And
yeah, so I think those are two different things, though. Is the actor's performance in and of itself bland, or was the writing of the character and the way that it was filmed bland? Because I think Jared Leto's Joker could have been just fine. First up, you got to erase that stupid damage tattoo from his freaking forehead.
Yes, it's like, can you imagine? It's like, hey, come here for a second. What's wrong? And it's like, hold here for a second. What are you doing? I'm erasing the stupid tattoo off your forehead. Stop acting like a child.
Yeah, like Joker's gonna walk into a tattoo parlor and be like, I just need damaged on my forehead so everybody knows. Like, like, come on, nobody just gonna do that. So stupid. But otherwise, like, I thought it was kind of cool. I mean, Suicide Squad, I can remember so well that when that trailer came out, when the preview for the movie came out, and I saw it, I was like, oh my God, I can't wait. And then literally for an entire year, it was like looking forward to seeing Suicide Squad, and it was total bogus.
Yeah, I saw.
And that was kind of when I think I lost like my last bit of faith in Hollywood.
Yeah, I saw.
And I thought it was a good idea. It was a good idea because you have Heath Ledger's Joker, who didn't care at all about money, to the point that he was literally burning huge stacks of money just to prove that that's not what it was about. Well, you could turn around and have a version of the Joker, because it's a fictional character, so you can have versions. You can do what you want with the character. So in this version, Jared Leto maybe he was more like mob bossy. He had the tats, he had the grill, it was like ghetto mob boss type of thing. He had, the jewelry and the clothes, and he was enjoying the financial success. He was enjoying the money that he had from all of his criminal activity. So he was sort of more of a player, more of a, like I said, like a ghetto mob boss. And I thought that was a cool idea. They could have done a lot with that.
Yeah, and just because he played a few pranks on the producers, I think it was wrong that they punished him and cut, because they pushed that whole entire movie to basically say, hey, here's a movie with the Suicide Squad and Joker's the main villain. But instead, what we get is some crappy CGI witch and another plot, and then they make look like the Joker dies in the movie. And the same thing with this new movie with Harley Quinzel. They make like the Joker's dead because Jared Leto's not coming back, and they fired Jared Leto And I'm like, that just means Hollywood, you need to find yourself a Joker that's not Joaquin Phoenix, because Phoenix is probably already signed right now to do another Joker movie.
You think?
I think I heard rumors. I heard rumors that because the movie turned out so well and the movie made so much money that they might be making a Joker 2 and trying to connect it in with the now.
Well, I would personally love to see if it could be made as well as this movie was. Like, stay true to the character, stay true to this particular storyline that they've chosen to go by. Just the same quality that the Joker was made in. Would love to see the next chapter. How does he become the criminal mastermind? How does he become the leader of this rise of chaos in Gotham?
How does he become the clown? How does he become the clown prince of crime? And the thing with this movie is it would have to really this is not Arthur Fleck now. This is the Joker. This is the insane clown that is the Joker, rising to power. Maybe it's at the end he falls. He goes back to Arkham. Like he finally meets Batman, and he their ultimate showdowns. Starts off. Who would play Batman? And I think, since it's an origin story, the Rise origin story, I don't think there should be a particular name actor playing Batman. I think it should just be a face playing Batman, and because this is not gonna be a Batman storyline. You don't see Bruce Wayne. You're just seeing Batman. This is Joker. This is Joker's story. This is not Batman's storyline.
Yes. And it's easy, I would say, at least it's easy for me to sort of in my own mind be like, this is I love this kind of character, and this is what I would like for this character to be like. And I know it's like, no, it's not canon. I don't like Joker canon. I don't like the OG Joker.
Well, technically, Ledger was canon, actually. You know that? I think Ledger was canon.
Yeah, but you don't know much about him. Like, if you go back, from what I understand, and I'm saying this extremely I have not sat down and read the comic books. I only understand the comic books from a position of listening to other people talk about them. And from what I understand, OG Joker was seriously like a really bad guy.
Yeah.
Like a really bad guy. Very easy to hate kind of guy. And what I like so much about the Joker that we get from Joaquin Phoenix and this just that whole movie in general is that the Joker then becomes this really relatable person where you see this good-hearted man who he didn't want to hurt anybody. He wanted everybody to get along. He just wanted to be treated the way just with respect. That's it. And he lost himself. He went mad and he lost himself in this hatred because of so much abuse. I thought that was like, wow, how relatable, how humanizing that situation is. Thought it was a pretty cool idea. So if they were going to do a second Joker, for me personally, I would want to see that kind of continue in a sense. Like now he's the Joker, but there's still a part of him that is like, can do the right thing sometimes. I think that's the best villain. The best villain to me is the one that leaves you feeling conflicted. Like, okay, that was bad to do. You can't really justify that, but you still like this person even despite it because you see their effort. And that's like my favorite thing.
Okay, picture this. I can if I was to write this movie, I would have it as Arthur Fleck, the Joker, breaks out of prison, but he is becoming the Joker, and he has become the Joker. He's killed his hero, the guy on television. So he goes back to his apartment, dumps gasoline all around his mother's apartment because he's trying to burn his old identity. He takes his ID and everything that used to be Arthur Fleck, and he sets it all on fire. He slowly walks out of the apartment and just kind of he's laughing at while the whole entire place is burning down. And he walks out, he gets in the elevator, he goes down, he gets into his car, and he walks. He could walk or drive. And, then it shows you him trying to go into the darkest parts of Gotham to maybe get a gang, to start something going. And that's when Batman starts to make an appearance. But, at the same time, Batman and the Joker are probably the same age. So, it's a progression, but it's not through Batman's eyes. Everything is through the Joker's eyes. This movie would be entirely everything Joker. You would see from Joker's falls to him succeeding, to him maybe beating up one of his thugs or something like that,
Yep. And that's the part that's interesting, is that just like with the movie Joker, you felt what he was experiencing. And that's filmmaking. That's good filmmaking. You can take any character, you can base it on real life, you can just have it purely fictional. Does not matter what you're portraying on the screen. It's the way that the characters are relating to the audience, because we all really do relate to each other in a way. We just have to. It has to be put in such a way that we're reminded, oh yeah, I understand that part of myself. I could see, I'm watching the Joker, and by the end of that movie, I am left with this feeling like, holy crap, if that were my life, I could see feeling that way. It's just that that's not been my life, so I don't feel that way. And that is what is so, to me, just really poignant and powerful about any film, is you're taking on this ride of a human experience that could have just as easily been your own. That's filmmaking. That's good filmmaking.
Yeah.
It's not just the character, here's the character. Okay, well, that character is still just as good. That character is only as good as how the writers and the producers, etc., are able to portray that character.
Yeah. The next character I really want them to see them portray is Harvey Dent. Is the story, the origin story of Harvey Dent, because his story is very interesting. How he becomes to have two personalities, and I would love to see that movie. And who would you bring back? Was it Aaron Eckhart that played Two-Face in The Dark Knight?
Yes.
Yes. I don't know why that name just popped in my head, but if you were to pick a particular actor to do the origin story of Harvey Dent, or of Harvey Two-Face, and then you would gradually lean into how he becomes Two-Face, who would you pick to play that role?
Oh Lord, that's a hard question.
Maybe Leo. Maybe Leo would be good, because I think.
I think Leo. That's not. I mean, I love Leo for sure. It's just he's super super A-list. I don't know. It doesn't seem. Not that he wouldn't do it well. I mean, I'm sure that he could.
I think he'd be a good face for Harvey Dent. Honestly, because Harvey, it's interesting. In the original Batman movies, Harvey was actually black. It was interesting because the actor that
I say that because when you asked me that question, I thought I really want to see Idris Elba be some kind of a Marvel character. I think he's a great actor.
Who?
He's an intelligent guy. And
Idris Elba?
His name is Idris Elba.
Never heard of him.
And he's been in a lot of movies. For some reason, I can't think of anyone off the top of my head, although I could certainly Google them while we're talking. But anytime I've seen him, heard of him, listened to him speak, he has such a great persona. He has a great look. He's cool. And I think that he should be some kind of, he needs to get in on this Marvel DC stuff.
Yes, he should. There's a lot of actors that don't like to do superhero movies because sometimes it's just really that all they are is standing in front of a green screen. But that's the whole idea of Hollywood. It's you're going to be standing near a green screen at some point if you're in Hollywood and you're doing a movie. If you're not doing a period piece, you're going to be doing a comic book movie.
So yeah, he was in Avengers. He was in Age of Ultron.
Really?
I saw Age of Ultron once when it came out in
Was
theaters.
he the voice actor? Was he the guy?
He was in Ghost Rider too. He was in Pacific Rim. He was in The Jungle Book. He was in Thor.
So apparently he already stepped into the superhero genre.
Well, I think he should do it again, honestly.
Is he that old is he the elderly gentleman? Is he kind of old?
He's not elderly though. He has some salt and pepper hair and whatever, but
there was an actor that recently passed away. He was British. He was a British actor. He recently just passed away recently. I can't remember how old he was, but he passed away recently.
He was in Prometheus. Idris Elba was in Prometheus. He was the guy who was driving the ship, and have you seen Prometheus?
No, I have not seen Prometheus.
Yeah, I just think something like that, like he comes to mind, and I don't think Aaron Eckhart was a bad choice or anything, but I also don't think that he's like rugged enough, and maybe that's why they chose him, because he's kind of like, this really well put together guy, clean, put him in a suit, he looks like a lawyer, kind of, I don't know, pretty boy type.
What about the guy that says, all right? How about him?
Oh, Matthew McConaughey?
McConaughey as Harvey Dent. What do you think? He's tall, he's slim.
I don't know. It wouldn't be bad, but I don't know if it would be good either. It has to be somebody, because Matthew McConaughey kind of has this connotation of good actor, yeah. Serious role, I don't know, like that, maybe, but not bad. It's not a bad choice.
He played a criminal in one of his movies, and the guy had he was wanted, and he had a cross. Like the whole thing was he had a cross on the bottom of his shoe, a homemade cross. He was a criminal and running away from the law. I can't remember that. I think it was called Mud.
I have not seen that. I think I've heard of it though.
I watched bits and pieces of it, and I kind of fell asleep during it. It was kind of slow. The Joker's slow, but the thing is that it's still a good movie, and I'm sorry to bring up Joker and this kind of stuff. It's just topics that me and Crystal like to talk about. And Crystal, it is 8:02. Would you like to go to 8:30, or what's your opinion?
I don't think I can go to 8:30.
All right. Well, I think. Are you cool with ending the podcast now? And we'll just tell everybody.
Sure. Good time to wrap it up. Sure.
Okay. I just want to say, this is me and Crystal, and this is the Crystal and Tommy podcast. We appreciate you sitting here enjoying our banter, and we're here because we don't know what to do.
That's the truth, though. That's the truth.
We're here because it's
quarantine time, so now we super duper have an excuse.
Yes, we have nothing better to do but then jump on a podcast and talk about nothing and the coronavirus.
It's not gonna be our send off every time. It's gonna be movie review. We got nothing better to do. It's gonna be podcast because we got nothing better to do.
At some point, me and you, whenever you want to, me and you will watch a movie, and then we will do a review and give them an movie review, because I think everybody's been asking about movie review, and I think people love you, Crystal. People love your character and your flair.
You say that, Tommy, but I gotta take it with a grain of salt.
You are a celebrity on my channel. I really think that you are one of the glowing stars. You are like you and Hamza are the two people I see in my comments the most. Where's Crystal? Where's Hamza? Where's Crystal? Where's Hamza? Those are the two people I relatively see, because I have people that are characters that pop up in my vlogs that don't really stay there all the time. So, relatively, it's just a circle of, people that are firmly in my life and that want to be in my videos, and not say, I don't want to be in your video, Tommy, shut your camera off, And I know you have a limit too, but would you have anything you want to say, Crystal, before we go?
I hope everybody's well and stay well, and I hope everybody maintains their peace of mind, and with all this nonsense going on, or hopefully nonsense anyway, your life isn't disrupted to the point that it's harming anybody. That's my hope. And just take care, everybody.
Take care.
Till next time.
Till next time. We got nothing better to do. Me and Crystal.
Holding it down.
Holding it down. Hold it on the tizzy.
That's right.
Yeah. As always, folks, I'm Tommy NC 2010, and I'm keeping you on the inside fact. Subscribe, support, stay positive. I love you, Crystal.
Love you, Tommy.